We're back here at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois at the United Center. My guest is Sheriff Gary L. McFadden. He is the Sheriff of Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department in North Carolina. Sheriff McFadden, thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you all for having me.
We're here again at the Democratic National Convention. Vice President Kamala Harris on Thursday will be the nominee of the Democratic Party. Why is this election so important to communities of color?
Well, we needed our voices to be heard. We need issues in our community that need to be addressed, and we believe that she's the best person to address them and also to hear from us. And we're going to work with her in order for her to hear with us. But we want that.
You were the first African American elected to the position of Sheriff of Mecklenburg County.
Absolutely.
She, if elected, will be the first woman of color. What is the significance of that? Is it more than symbolism?
It is. It is a dream of our ancestors. Most people don't get that. It is a dream that she's probably had. It's a dream that I definitely had, but I would never think that I would be the sheriff of this county. I didn't want to be the sheriff. I have a 43-year history in law enforcement, and I was an officer before. But being the first African-American sheriff, black sheriff, I can address the issues that are not often addressed in our communities, and I have addressed those.
What do you say to those that will make the point that in some unfortunate circumstances, African-American police officers are harder on African-Americans than their white counterparts? There are those who will say that's because they want to be sure they stay in the club. They want to be sure that they aren't singled out. Have you found that to be an issue, or is that more myth than fact?
It is more myth than fact.
Okay.
We just have to do our job. But what happens is the community expected us to be more lenient when it comes to them. But I think that we and the community, I know we do it in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. I don't have a problem with my community. Mm-hmm. I don't have a problem with addressing actually homeless people or unhoused people voted for me. We have an excellent track record with our community in Charlotte. So it's just being there and being honest and being true to what you're doing.
And as you have talked with Vice President Harris, as you have seen the policy initiatives, let's talk about crime in the community. What are some of the things that we need to start as a community demanding of an administration, no matter who it is? What are some of the things that we need to start demanding of an administration to deal with the issues of crime in our communities?
Well, first of all, we're going to have to get a handle on fentanyl. Fentanyl is killing our community. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to talk about the violence and the guns in our community. But then one of the things that they should address every day is mental health.
Thank you.
That has to be addressed in the community. The other things that sheriffs want across America is what they call safer borders. Those are the issues. But we would love and we invite them to sit down with the sheriffs of America. And like I told everybody, I want to have these candid conversations with our political leaders, including whoever will be our president or vice president.
Mental health in jails. We need more mental health care before the individual gets to jail. That will help keep a lot of people out of jail.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, and here's why. Mm-hmm. Imagine me being the first black sheriff, created a behavioral health for men and women inside of the detention center that nobody else has in North Carolina. Now, out of the 100 sheriffs in North Carolina, now the state is asking me, which I will do.
Wait, before you get to that, what are the elements, what are the salient elements of that program?
Well, the elements are that, you mean how we take care of them?
Yes.
We first talk about your family. We connect with the family. We find out what the issues are. And then if this housing unit is not your traditional housing unit,
okay,
these ladies and men are free to come. And here's what we have done. We don't use the word inmate inside of my detention center. And I said detention center because we don't use the word jail. You will never see anybody mistreated. Mm-hmm. I have probably fired more people than any other sheriff. But when you find out the root cause of it and give them the freedom, give them the medication, and give them the resources, they become better citizens.
Now, when you say resources take us to budgets.
Budget.
And I say all the time that budgets are numeric representations of priority. So we hear all the time, whether it's a school budget, whether it's the incarceration, whether it's the police force. We don't have enough money. So how do you get your city council, your mayor, your governor to see to it that you have the resources that you need to implement the programs that you want to implement?
What I did first is, well, let me back up just a minute.
Okay.
There's a machine in Washington, D.C. that prints money.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the U.S. Mint.
Mm-hmm.
It is the control mechanism of our society. Imagine this. We don't have to wait for money to grow. We make money. So why don't we have the necessary resources? And I get that from my father, and I have no idea why he always said that. But they make money. Now, I created the behavioral health unit without any additional money from the county and from the city. And I showed them, I reallocate certain things inside my agency to provide the necessary resources for my citizens. That's the start. After that, you have to show your city and county officials, not at a rally, not at a panel discussion, each and every day why money and resources are important.
You talk here about fentanyl and an opioid crisis.
Absolutely.
If we were to get rid of fentanyl tomorrow and not address the mental health issues that are driving people to feel compelled to use drugs in the first place, fentanyl will be replaced by something else.
You're right. But the community, law enforcement, and the justice system need to work together. We fight each other all the time about small issues. If we get rid of one issue and support our citizens returning home, we will be better. We don't often do that. The returning citizen is denied so many resources after they leave our center. We have people breaking out windows to stay inside the detention center after they leave because they get better care and custody at a detention center, which is an embarrassment.
So how do you go about changing the mindset of the elected officials in Charlotte, Mecklenburg County to dedicate the resources? Because again, a lot of it, I believe, has to do with preventing the crime before the crime is committed.
You're exactly right. I hate to say this. We in law enforcement have to educate our elected officials.
Okay.
We put it in their face every day. This is why it's happening, okay? Believe it or not.
Oh, but see, now you're getting soft on crime.
No.
That's always the push.
It is.
That's always the pushback. Oh, you want to coddle the inmate.
Yes.
Or the detainee. And you want to get soft on crime now.
No, well, here's what I say to them then. If you don't want me to do this, tell me this. How would you want me to prepare your neighbor? Because they're going to be your neighbor. So how would you want to prepare me? If you don't want me to take care of this guy now, take away fentanyl, take away the violence and all this stuff, then what do you want me to do? You don't have the answer. You're not working towards an answer. I'm working towards an answer. This is 43 years of experience talking.
And obviously you have found yourself, you're still in office, so there has been some success.
Oh, it's success, and they love it.
And so broadening that program from a Charlotte Mecklenburg County program to a North Carolina program to a national program.
It takes somebody to say, we will take a chance on it. Believe it or not, right now, inside my detention center, I have a business school. Business school inside a detention center, we help people with mental health first. After mental health, we tell them about the drug abuse. We help them with the drug abuse, but then we give them hope. We don't give anybody hope. So imagine that you leave my detention center with a website and an LLC and a license.
And let's talk about recidivism.
Recidivism.
One of the ways that we measure success in detention centers is the recidivism rate.
National rate is 44%. Charlotte, Mecklenburg, 29%.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So if you would look into camera 2, and what are the 2 most salient points that you want this audience to take away from this conversation?
That we're going to have to allow the sheriffs of America to be their voice. And we're going to have to listen to them. We're talking about mental health, and we're talking about fentanyl, and those 2 things are going to destroy our community. So listen to your local sheriff, support your local sheriffs, and have a conversation with your local sheriff, and allow us to educate you just a little bit more.
Sheriff Gary McFadden, Charlotte Mecklenburg County Sheriff. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Greatly appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us. Folks, Wilmer Leon here. We're here at the Democratic National Convention. in Chicago, Illinois at the United Center. Stay here with Politics in Color. There's a whole lot more in store.